Alright y'all, it's Albert LaBelle, and this time we're going to do something very different than picking locks. I get this question often, so I figured let's just do a step-by-step from start to finish. How do I make my tips for disc detainer locks? Now obviously this tip here I made for the Sparrows disc tool. You can see my tip right there. That is the general shape I shoot for. What I use, and many of us do, are plastic injection mold ejector pins. Okay, this is what they look like when you buy them. They're made one piece, so they're very strong. Okay, I think the Sparrows tips, this is one that comes with the Sparrows. I think these are affixed. I've already twisted one of these off myself, so I know they're not that great. So, like I said, I just make my own, and you will not twist one of these off. As a matter of fact, if you do twist one off, you're doing something seriously wrong, because they're super strong. So yeah, you buy these pins, get them in bulk. I think I buy them 25, 30 at a time or so. And these here are 1.5 millimeter, the shaft here. Let's see if I can show you. I'll turn this bad boy on here. The shaft, 1.5 millimeter. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. But yeah, the shaft's 1.5. The length on these, I get them oversized as far as the length. These are just shy of 6 inches. So that doesn't matter, because after you shape the tip, you put it in there, and on the Sparrows, the tip will actually go right through the handle, and then you can just cut the length off as you need. So just get them a little long. It's all good. So how do we do it? Well, I just use one of these right here. Simple, cheap little tabletop grinder. It's got the grinding wheel on this side and the buffing wheel on this side. This little guy here was from Harbor Freight. Actually, Thumper sent me this, so thanks, Thumper. So yeah, this is my behind the scenes, by the way. Maybe I'll give you a quick run around. You usually see the table behind me on the other side. This table here is my magic, where all the magic happens. I got my little rotary tool here that I use often to make pins. I got my little anvil there, tabletop anvil, just for tapping stuff. My Leashy key cutter over there. Got my Houdinis. I got my tweezers and my file stuck to a magnet strip. I got my pinning kits up here. American Lock pinning kit and another, I think, a quick set pinning kit. Got my Allen tools over here. Little mini vise. A little jewelry saw I use to make pins with. So yeah, a little behind the scenes shot. So let's go back on the grinder here. Now a lot of this is, it does take a little while, because as you can imagine, we're trying to take that big hunk of steel and bring it down into a tip that size. So it does take quite a bit of grinding. So some of this I'll speed up in post-processing. And as far as the noise, I'll try and clean up as much of that as I can, again, in post-processing. So let's just get to it. What do you say? Let's fire this thing up. I've already got my specs on so I can see. Variable speed, by the way. Alright, let's do this. Oh, by the way, the first thing I do is I take a lot of the metal off this way first, just to get it out of the way. Then I go with the general shape, which would be sort of a rectangle. Once I got the rectangle shape the way I want it, then I go for the thickness this way. That's the last part you want to do, because that matters a lot. Alright, so let's start going. Okay, so now you see we've got a lot of the thickness off this way. Okay, you see what we started with and what we have now. Alright, so now I'm going to go with the general shape. I'm going to start getting my, oh, it's getting hot there. I'm going to start getting my general shape this way. I'm going to start getting my rectangle shape. Now you see we're starting to getting the sides brought in. Now keep in mind that the wheel is obviously round. We don't want rounded sides, but I'll use the side of the wheel when we get that far. Alright, now we've lost a lot of the mass. Remember where we started. I'm going to grab all the pins. See the difference in the thickness now. This way and that way. Now it's still really rough, but we'll take care of that. Now you see how we flatten the sides out using the side of that wheel. Get it nice and flat. pretty much got it. We've got the correct shape. I can polish it a little bit more to make it flat. I'll probably bring the thickness down just a tad bit, but you get the basic idea. That's how we turn one of these pins into a working tip. Now I also like to take and make mine slightly almost like an hourglass shape. I don't know if you'll be able to see it that good on here. It's not a perfect triangle. I bring the center of it in just slightly for some disc detainer locks that have the little sort of little teats on the side, if you will, little bumps. So how I do that is I'll just use the side of that wheel and just kind of hit the center. And just bring the centers in. Then you can clean it up over here. And there you go. That is how I make my tips for, at least for this one. You can see the pretty general shape. I bring it down a little bit more, but you know, that's fine tuning. And then obviously, let's take the Allen wrench here and take this one out. Take that tip out. Okay, that's one I made. And we'll take the new one. Of course, I'd normally clean it up real good. Slide it through. And then to get the length right, what I do is I'll bring the tip down as far as it'll go. And I want to keep this collar on this inner part at all times. So don't keep it back here. Just make sure your collar is on that. I usually go about to that line right there. Okay. Then we can tighten it up. Like so. Okay. Now you can cut the rest of that off. You don't need the rest of that. That ensures that no matter where I am in the lock, even if I'm all the way back out, that this part of the pick is still on that inner piece. So it keeps everything perfectly straight. Because when you're picking disc detainer locks, you want that tip to stay absolutely true down the center of the disc. Now you'll have to learn how to hold it this way. But as soon as you get the skill down, at least you know your tip is doing what you want it to. It's going to run true, absolutely true, all the way down the center of the lock. And everything on the tip, it's going to be straight this way and that way. So that's how you do it. That's the general idea. I hope this answers some questions for you. Please let me know in the comments section if I left anything out. If I can answer any more questions for you, I'll be more than happy to. But that is how I make the tips for the Sparrows disc pick. All right. Also from some of my own disc detainer tools, I also make my own tips for those. But they're all pretty much generally the same shape. I kind of go for that hourglass. Hopefully it's picking that up. But yeah, that's how I do it. All right. So thank you all so much for watching. By the way, let me know in the comments if you know what these are originally used for, these ejector pins. What I think they are is in plastic injection molding. They take the molten plastic, they force it into a mold, right? Then it's quickly cooled, and I think these, if you see them round spots in there, they happen to be the same size. I think these pins are what eject the parts out, and then the whole process starts over again. But they are called ejector pins. Like I said, I think that's what it's for. It's to push the finished plastic parts out so they can start the process over and over and over. So if you know, let us know in the comments, please. Okay, so that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. You know I'm going to say it. If you're not subscribed yet, you need to do it because all the cool people are doing it. Okay? Thank you very much.